How did you find the right therapist? Did it take you a while? Did you go through a lot of bad ones, or like what what worked for you? You know?
It's a really, really good question because my first therapist and me really didn't work out very well for a couple of reasons. Is actually I myself at that time I was still struggling with some acceptance and some admittance things. I didn't want to admit that I needed therapy as a man in today's society. I toxic masculinity stuff. I didn't want to just admit that I needed help and it's healthy for me to talk things out. So I wasn't seeking out a therapist. A therapist actually found me. A therapist heard about my history and my background and what I came from, and they were like, wow, this kid has been through a lot. He's not even going to therapy. I want to offer my help. Someone completely offered their therapy free, completely pro bono. And just because they wanted to do some good, they wanted to help me. And I was like, you know what? I've been through a lot in my life. Therapy might be something that helps me. This person is completely offering it free. This A makes me feel like a really good person. This makes me feel like I have self-worth and I matter to somebody, that someone wants to reach out to me like this. So I accepted their help and we started speaking. However, in our therapy sessions, it wasn't healthy, good communication because they had a biased opinion about something. They, it was one of my traumas in my life. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. One of which, at one point in my life, I was being blatantly exploited and used. And my therapist was actually a supporter of the entity that was exploiting me.
Your mom?
Actually, no. So shortly after my attempted suicide, one of my closest best friends was very, very affected by it. And he had good intentions and he started a nonprofit organization based on mental health awareness and suicide prevention.
Yeah, I know him.
He had good intent, but in the end, they actually basically used me and my history of suicide as their poster boy without my permission or awareness. I was being blatantly exploited. They released a bunch of media about me, photographs. They used my name and a general description of my attempted suicide all over their Facebook as well as webpage. And they even went to far lengths to make a documentary about me, but they never had my permission to release it to public. It was something that I wasn't comfortable doing.
Yeah,
I only agreed to do it because we actually had a contract, we had an agreement that I will be the one choosing whether it sees light of day or not.
yeah.
And they never asked for my permission. They personally edited the video and they actually put it out in the public without my permission. And they didn't even tell me. I found out through the grapevine. I had friends contact me and say, Mark, I saw this video online. I think it's amazing what you're doing. And then I found the video myself online, contacted them and said, you lied to me. You didn't have my permission to make this video. I said I was never going to let it see the light of day. I only agreed to do it just to try to avoid the discomfort, but I didn't want this video to be made. And no matter how much I talked to them about it, they wouldn't actually pull any of it. They still kept using it and exploiting me. And yeah, my therapist actually, they saw this video and they said, wow, I want to talk to this kid and help him. So they found me because of that nonprofit. So when I would try to talk to them that this nonprofit was exploiting me and using me, they would be like, no, Mark, you're wrong. This nonprofit has good intentions. They're doing something good. So they would refuse to talk to me about something that was traumatizing to me.
Wow.
And it made me feel even more unloved and worthless that my friend would exploit me and use me. And now a professional won't even talk to me about it and they agree with them.
Oh man, what a mess.
So it really, really stumped my therapy. And it literally, I hated going to therapy. They wouldn't speak to me about my trauma. And if I did, they would disagree with me. So I didn't feel like there was anything comfortable I could talk to them about. I couldn't make myself vulnerable. I couldn't make myself discomfortable. I felt like I was being judged. So I didn't feel comfortable going into there. And I felt like I was actually being punished almost. Like they were just disagreeing with me and just, you know.
Is that person still around with his business? Do you know if that content is still out there?
Actually, ironically, just about 3 years ago, that CEO and founder of that nonprofit, he actually completely got ousted from his own company and removed
Really?
because he kept up the exact same history after me. After me, he kept exploiting and using people without their permission. And I read a bunch of articles that a lot of people quit and left the organization because it was a toxic work environment, that he was narcissistic and it was just people didn't like it. They saw it was for.
Obama even gave his business a shout out. Did you know about that?
Yes, I did. And that's White Barmaid, it killed me that his nonprofit was getting so much publicity
Yeah.
and so much media recognition and recognized as a good thing when he didn't know behind the scenes what he was doing.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just thought he was doing a good thing.
Yeah, I personally hated that video because it was scripted. They didn't ask me what I wanted to put in it. They gave me a script and told me to read. And when I said there's things I disagree with in this script, they refused to let me edit or change anything. They said, you're reading that script. And I said, I disagree with it. I'm not making this video. And they wouldn't even leave my apartment. I asked them to please leave and I can't work with them and they wouldn't. So I just read the script just thinking this is a way to just get them out of my house and just leave me alone.
But he's ousted from the company. Is that content still out there?
Oh no, it's not.
Okay.
Because over the years, I eventually hired an attorney and filed a cease and desist motion and threatened a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you if you got a lawyer.
I eventually took up a lawyer and I got it. Yeah, because it was also insulting my family and it was making my family dynamic even more messed up. So I finally took legal action, did a cease and desist, threatened a lawsuit. And when all the media got pulled, I sent them an email saying, hey, you were exploiting me and you didn't care about my self comfort. You were talking about a very, very touchy subject. You should care about what I'm comfortable in the way it's handled. Now that you know to take me seriously, you can contact me if you want. And they never contacted me back.
That was really big of you to do that. You still left the door open. You still like gave him love after everything that he did to you. That's really cool, Mark.
Thank you, because I'm open to letting things for good intent to be out there, you know? When people are willing to work with me, I'm very happy to go out there and share things and yeah.